The Cardigans, my favourite game. And in a seamless link, I am now going to bring Rob Law in to talk about his favourite game.
So smooth, aren't you, eh?
So,
Canadian maple syrup smooth.
I know. So, Kerplunk, what is your strategy?
I mean, to be honest, Kerplunk's not my favourite game.
Oh, is it not your Oh, right, I thought that's what we were here to. Oh, right.
I'm more of like a Cluedo kind of guy.
Are you? Yeah, I can see you doing it in the kitchen with a candlestick. Yeah, I can.
Well, you know, what happens on a weekend stays on a weekend, doesn't it?
In other news.
Yes. Let's dig ourselves out of this hole.
Don't mention holes. Rob Law,
that was a bad link.
Is here with Neil Madison and a Borough Friendly this afternoon. How you doing, fella?
Yeah, not bad. It's all right, and because we can edit that bit out and nobody will ever hear it because it's not like it's live radio, is it? Do you know what I mean?
Excellent.
Yes. As you speak to us, we just have this drizzle that is sweeping in to the Chesterfield Stadium. We are in Chesterfield for Real Betis against Middlesbrough. Why, you might ask? And that would be a very, very good question. The Spanish side quite often over this way doing a training camp, cold weather training camp it would seem, before their La Liga season kicks off. Middlesbrough taking up the opportunity to test themselves against a solid and competitive Spanish outfit who are managed by Manuel Pellegrini, who was once guiding Manchester City to the Premier League title some moons ago. But this afternoon, Middlesbrough against Real Betis will have every kick of it. Michael Carrick going quite strong on his team news. I'll give you a full rundown once we get underway in just under 10 minutes time. But I can tell you that there is a start for Seny Dieng in goal and Morgan Rogers leading the line up front as well, and Matt Crook starting this afternoon. So a fairly strong team from Michael Carrick. Not as many youngsters involved, although there is a plethora of them on the bench who will undoubtedly come on at some point in the second half. And this is a step up for Michael Carrick and his team as they gear up for their championship campaign, which many of us hope, Anthony, will end in promotion back to the Premier League. And this is a solid test for themselves.
Proud to follow the Borough.
BBC Radio T's Sports.
Good afternoon and welcome to a very wet and soggy Chesterfield Stadium for Middlesbrough's latest step towards their championship season. They're in pre-season action when they take on Real Betis this afternoon as Michael Carrick takes another notch up on his aim to get Borough promoted back to the Premier League. It all kicks off in a very, very short space of time. Full match commentary to come. I'm joined by Neil Madison for every kick of this one, and at half-time we'll give you a full roundup of all the day's sporting headlines involving England at the Ashes. But plenty not to miss this afternoon on BBC Radio T Sport as we're with you through until 4.
BBC Radio T Sports.
Yes, welcome along one and all. Grey clouds just looming above the ground as we prepare for kick-off. 10 minutes to go until we get underway. Both teams have been out warming up. Real Betis, the Spanish side, right down in front of us. Middlesbrough away to our right-hand side. They've both returned to their dressing room and they will step out in a few moments' time for this latest pre-season instalment as Michael Carrick aims to get his side fighting fit for what we all hope will be a promotion push this season in the Championship. Alongside me, Neil Madison for every kick of this one. It's a little bit drier than York City and probably Rotherham, isn't it, so far?
It is at the moment, but it's a little bit chilly today, isn't it?
It is, yes.
It's a little bit chilly, but lovely playing surface. Plenty of water. It should be nice, shouldn't it? So, looking forward to the game because it's a different opposition. Real Betis will be a tough nut to crack. You can imagine there'll be possession-based football, and it's going to be interesting to see how we get on.
And it's a very clear step up in opposition now as well, isn't it? As the dial starts to turn a little bit, and Michael Carrick will undoubtedly be starting to think about that first game of the Championship season.
Yeah, I think you are now. I think you're looking at games. I think you have 3 games left. This one, Bradford midweek, and then Auxerre, which is the final one. Then you prepare for that week for the Millwall game, and I still think there'll be a few players come through the door before that. But yeah, good opposition. They're gonna really test you as a team, defensively and attacking wise. So I'm looking forward to this one, just to see what they're like.
Yeah, a team that finished 6th in La Liga last season, managed by Manuel Pellegrini, of course, former Manchester City boss, and plying his trade now in La Liga with Real Betis. Let's take you through the side then. Middlesbrough start with Seny Dieng in goal. It's a back 4 from right to left of Tommy Smith, Dale Fry, Darragh Lenihan and Hayden Coulson. The 2 sitting in front of that back 4 of Hayden Hackney and Dan Barlassa. A forward 3 of Riley McGree, Matt Crooks and Marcus Force, with Morgan Rogers leading the line up front. On the bench for Borough, Tom Glover, Rav Vandenberg, Martin Piero, Isaiah Jones, Terrell Adjemang, Matthew Hoppy, Alex Gilbert, Sammy Silvera, Jamie Jones and Sam Collins. We'll get Neil Maddison's thought on that lineup very shortly. As for Real Betis, probably some familiar names in here for some of you listening. Claudio Bravo to start off, ex-Manchester City goalkeeper, was at Barcelona as well. Now 40 years of age, in between the sticks this afternoon for Real Betis. A back 4 from right to left of Martin Montoya, Paul Akuoko, Luis Felipe and Abner, the Brazilian left back. Mark Rocker, who was one of the summer arrivals from Leeds United, as a midfield 3 with William Carvalho and Andres Guardado, the captain. The forward 3 through the middle is Raul Garcia. To one side he has Jan Cruz, and the other side is Ayoze Perez, formerly of Newcastle United and Leicester City. So some familiar names there for many of you listening, but from a Borough perspective, Neil Maddison, fairly strong lineup for Michael Carrick, probably as strong as he could go at this moment in time.
Yeah, well, you've got a few that obviously Johnny Howson's out, Piero's on the bench, Paddy McNair's not there, so you've got a few that could possibly come in, but I understand where you're coming from. It's one of the strongest sides you can play against, a side that, as I said before, will have plenty of the ball, I would think, and it's about us to get about these. I think watching us so far, and watching us especially at Rotherham, I thought the first half performance, I thought for 90 minutes we did well, but in particular I thought the first half performance was a very good one from us. I mean, it was a keep ball session. It's not going to be the same today, I don't think. I think they'll have plenty of the ball as well. It'll be about shuffling over, keeping your shape and making sure you really look after the ball. You know, Wednesday night against Rotherham, we didn't have to look after the ball. We played from the back, possession base, as I said before, created lots of chances. We mixed our game up really well. We got him behind with pace, but we went through the ranks as well and played a different way. So no, I was really impressed with it, but as I said before, this is a different game altogether. You're playing a top side that were in the league last season, and yeah, I'm looking forward to see how we go about it and get about these, and how we're going to win the game. You know, you find out about a team that's, if you look at that team now, and this is where I stand in terms of the selection and in terms of like the squad that we've got so far. If you look at that squad, you haven't got Akpom, you haven't got obviously Archer up top, you haven't got Giles, you haven't got Ramsey. You've got 4 or 5 players there I've mentioned. They're coming to the side, and if they're in that side now, you're looking, you're thinking, wow, what a side. But at this moment, that is probably a strong side for us. But I still think we need to strengthen.
Yeah,
I really do. I still think we need 3 or 4 more players. I know Michael Carrick said to Mark after the game, and don't get me wrong, I thought we were excellent, but he, you know, would you like to bring a few more in? And he said something on them lines, and well, I thought that was good enough, and it is. But if you look at last season, that's your sort of template.
Yeah.
That's where you've got to try and get to even have a chance of getting promotion this season. You know, that quality will win you games, no doubt about it. And that's all I feel we just lack a little bit at the moment. Them quality players that come through the door and make a real difference to the side.
Yeah, I can imagine people nodding along to the radio as they listen in to us on BBC Radio T Sport this afternoon.
It's a good side, don't get me wrong, but I just feel because we were blessed and spoilt a little bit last season with the players that we did have. Obviously, Akpon, he's not here at the moment and he's injured, and you're hoping to tie a deal down for him, and if you do, it's a massive plus. But I just think other players as well, you need to just strengthen in certain areas to give you a little bit of a lift and a little bit more belief.
And just going back to what you touched upon there about, you know, this being a different kind of test for Michael Carrick and his Middlesbrough side. You've been in dressing rooms, you've been as a player, as a manager, as a coach in dressing rooms ahead of pre-season and ahead of what you hope will be a successful campaign. It's about getting a balance of opposition, isn't it? So those games, like you say, against Rotherham, where you are going to have more of the ball, and perhaps an afternoon like this afternoon where it's a different ball game altogether. You might not have as much of the ball. It's about getting that balance to make sure that you are ready, whatever the scenario is, come the new season.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I think playing good quality opposition, you know, makes a difference. You know, you're testing yourself against a top quality side, and that's what's going to happen in the Championship. The Championship is a tough league, as we know. You've got to have all elements of shape, desire, want to winning games. You've got to have everything to get over the line in the Championship, to win these games. And this today is another test for us against a good side, a real good side. And yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. I think it'll be an interesting game.
Yes, both teams out of the tunnel and onto the pitch. Real Betis in their iconic white and green vertical striped shirts with the green shorts and the white socks. Middlesbrough in their new look strip for the brand new season, predominantly red with the white bands across the chest, the white collar, the red shorts and the red socks. Can see Hayden Hackney just stretching out his hamstrings and tugging down his shirt as he just slicks back that black hair of his as he turns inside the centre circle. The managers on the touchline and the officials inside the centre circle shaking hands with Captain Darragh Lenihan from a Middlesbrough perspective, and as well as Andres Guardado from Betis. The two exchange the flags.
You know what, Rob? I think today as well, you're going to get tested individually. You know, the man that's up against you, can you come out on top against him? The centre halves, I can imagine, will be strong. I can imagine they'll try and get the ball. Well, if you look at the back four now for Real Betis, I mean, they're a big side, aren't they? They're a real big physical side, and it's going to be interesting to see the battles on the pitch.
They're an experienced side as well. I mean, you look at Claudio Bravo, who is right down in front of us, just going to take up his position in the goal mouth. 40 years of age, Champions League winner, Premier League winner. I mean, there isn't a lot that man hasn't done or seen in a game. And I mean, he looks pretty decent for 40 as well.
He does. I think goalkeepers go forever, don't they? Yeah. I mean, they're well into the 40s, and then. But as I said before, you keep yourself fit, you look after yourself. Look at Johnny Howson. Johnny Howson for me is a prime example.
And we're underway as Real Betis kick us off in this latest pre-season friendly here at Chesterfield. And if you're wondering why on earth is it in Chesterfield, apparently Real Betis do this every season. They have a cold weather training camp, if you like, in the UK. And after this, they'll be off to play Burnley in the United States, of all things. I mean, that is quite a pre-season campaign, isn't it? Plenty of clubs in and around the UK.
I'm sure it'll be a bit warmer.
Yes, it'll definitely be a bit warmer in the United States. But Middlesbrough with an early free kick inside their own half, just having to tweak down our effects, Mike. There might be some colourful language a little bit later.
Well, we've got all the Borough fans in front of us.
We do, and a diagonal ball for Hayden Coulson to run on to, just skips up off the wet surface and out for a throw-in. And I know we spoke about it, Maddo, against Rotherham in midweek, but Hayden Coulson, this pre-season for him is a real opportunity, isn't it? Because that left-back spot, up to now, it's only him vying for it, unless Giles does come back, but seems increasingly unlikely, or if they bring in other bodies there to compete for that spot.
At this moment in time, there's him and Sam Collins really looking at that spot, and Hayden supplied his trade last season at Aberdeen, done really well, and what an opportunity for him to cement that place. Doesn't look like Giles is coming, does it? It looks like he's going to Luton, which I find really strange. Don't get me wrong, you look at Luton's ground and it's not the greatest, but the surrounding areas are quite nice. Luton itself, I wouldn't say is, well, I won't say anything but the surrounding areas, Bedford and places are absolutely beautiful. But the ground itself...
it's not a patch on Teesside though, is it?
Well, where would you want to go?
Yeah, exactly.
Luton or Tees. Luton or the Borough. I know where I'd go.
Yeah, me too. And this is chance for Real Betis, left-footed shot, which is blocked by Dale Fry, and it was Raul Garcia there just wriggling free as a space opened up for him. Betis in possession with Ayoze Perez, now squared to Mark Rocker, the ex-Leeds United man. William Carvalho is dispossessed by Hayden Hackney, who gets a chance to just stretch his legs and run forward, but then he's collided there by the number 16 Mark Rocker, and Hayden Hackney has stayed down, which will be a concern, crossing the penalty area, but well defended by Tommy Smith, and he had to be careful because he had Ayoze Perez breathing down his neck. Hayden Hackney has now pulled himself to his feet, but is still moving very heavily there.
He just gets caught on the ball. He does ever so well pinching that ball and driving forward, and then he's got a few men around him, but he just dithers on the ball a little bit, and the tackle comes in, and the referee realises they get a chance now, corner ball to them.
Corner on, it's a short routine which is cut back immediately to the edge of the area, back to the left hand side, floated into the front post but easily cleared by Hayden Hackney into the Real Betis half of play, where Claudio Bravo is very much that sweeper keeper. He will push right high up to the base of the centre circle and try and collect the ball when he can. Remember him getting caught out quite a few times at Manchester City during his time in the Premier League there with that very same move, but as we said earlier, a man who has the credentials to back it up after winning the Champions League and Premier League titles. Real Betis in possession, 3 minutes in, Borough 0, Real Betis 0. A good attendance here inside the Chesterfield Stadium as well. There also is a smattering of Real Betis fans away to our right, who you might just be able to hear in the distance of our effects mic, but it is a Spanish La Liga side in possession, with Montoya trying to stretch the legs of Dara Lenihan and getting past him as well at the byline. Lenihan does well to recover and then find Hayden Coulson, who just holds off the advances and tries his best to win a throw-in, but this time it goes the way of Manuel Pellegrini's white and green shirts.
Already you've seen the possession, the pause, and they're quite comfortable on the ball. They get down the right hand side there and they're not rushed. It's similar to how we play.
Montoya with a cross which just takes a deflection. The referee saying actually it went behind, and it will be a corner to La Liga, to the La Liga side I should say. And Real Betis with the number 18 Guardano just placing the ball down on the corner quadrant. It's that empty stand behind him, wearing the captain's armband, looking to swing this one in right to the back post, but Seny Dieng comes out well and claims it, and that's what you want from your goalkeeper.
100%. And he comes, he sees the flight of the ball, and he moves his feet really quickly, comes to the back post, and he takes away the danger straight away.
Yeah, you want a goalkeeper who will dominate that 6-yard box. As a back pass from Coulson to Dara Lenihan there, just caught the Borough captain on his heels, and Lenihan just saying to Coulson there, well, wrong option.
You can see their stance. Real Betis, they want to press. They're not going to let you play easily out. and straight away we go short into Lennon. He plays it to Hayden Coulson. He plays it back. It's a sloppy ball back to him.
Guardado this time right high beyond the goalposts and to the edge of the area. It's a loose ball which is picked up by Hayden Hackney, who's then been dragged back, but he sat one man down and then he's been pulled down himself. It is a free kick to Middlesbrough, and Hackney once again just down and checking on that left knee and that back of the calf. But Hackney doing very well there to stand his ground.
He pinches that ball, uses a bit of skill as well to stop, then go again. But I will say this just quickly here.
There's Crooks into force, wide right hand side of the penalty area. Got Morgan Rogers inside the box. Riley McGree just on the 18-yard line. Now Dan Barlaser to Crooks, a sliding challenge that comes in to nudge the ball behind for the first Borough corner of the afternoon. It comes 6.5 minutes in, but good play by Borough down the right hand side and taking the corner quickly. McGree lays it back off to Tommy Smith. Now Barlaser once again tries to feed it into the path of McGree. Rebounds out to the byline for force. Now Smith once again. McGree inside the penalty area. Barlaser outside the box. Hackney now to Fry. Trying to find Barlaser again, but Borough working their way backwards here, and Real Betis have a number of white and green shirts just hemmed in and hunting for the ball.
You expect, don't you? Michael Carrick's side, they are so comfortable on the ball,
and they're passing it around nicely. A ball fed in the penalty area, falls to Crooks. Now McGree back to Crooks, a nice 1-2, and almost an own goal as McGree tried to cut it back for Rogers inside the penalty area. Sliding block from the number 4 Akuoko, who almost prodded the ball into the back of his own net. Thankfully, from their perspective, it went over the crossbar and behind for another Borough corner.
Yeah, lovely football. Lovely football in and around that 18-yard box. One touch passing. You find that ball just down the right-hand side channel, and it's a ball across the face of the goal, and to be fair, it's good defending.
But it was good build-up play as well, wasn't it, Maddo? I mean, just one touch passing, and even when the move threatened to break down, they didn't lose their heads. They gathered the ball again and went again immediately.
Well, that's what you expect from Michael Carrick's side, I think.
Yeah.
So comfortable on the ball, and Pellegrini's side as well, exactly the same. I was just about to say, we've twice now we tried to play out from the back and they've pressed us, so it's going to be really, really interesting. Do we mix that game up? Do we drop balls in? Are we going to persevere and keep it? Because it is pre-season. You're looking to have that possession and do really well getting out from the back. Hayden Hackney started really well, by the way.
He's getting involved in it early, isn't he? As Riley McGree does very well there to draw the free kick just short of the halfway line on this near side, with Michael Carrick out in his technical area, hands thrust deep in his pockets. You can see the sponsor on the back of his matchday jacket. A nice ball fed into Morgan Rogers here. Left-footed shot is saved by Claudio Bravo. Gets a second clearance, but skews it out for a corner in the end, I think. But the ball fed into Rogers by Dan Barlaser. Rogers beating the offside trap in on goal. Saw Claudio Bravo coming out of his box and was able to try and beat him, but a good save in the end by Bravo. Corner taken short. Barlaser once again pulling the strings from the midfield. Hackney tries to square it across the face of goal, but that's blocked by Real Betis, who clear into the grey afternoon sky. Drops down, and McGree's won the header into the thighs of Coulson, running at the defence, looking to deliver into the box, and prodded behind once again by Akuoko for another Borough corner.
That's been a good start.
Yeah.
Good game so far. They've had a couple of chances, and so have we. Great play. You expect that from us now. The quality on the ball in and around the 18-yard box has been excellent to get you where you want to go, to create them opportunities. And as I said before, Hayden Hackney, I've got to say, he's been absolutely outstanding in the first few minutes.
And he's involved again. A little reverse pass into the penalty area for force. Looks to cut it back to Rogers if he can create some space to get his shot away, but he's just brushed off the ball now as Betis clear up to the halfway line. But again, you called it, Neil. Hayden Hackney is showing for the ball every opportunity. He does so again to pick out Crooks. Strides forward, looks for a return pass into the path of Hackney, but just too much on it in that move, and Betis can clear. Dan Barlaser as well, picking out some nice passes.
Yeah, both of them have started well, linking up together, set balls as well, one at the midfield and the other one will just come onto it. They've been really good. And that's promising as well, because Johnny Howson being out, he's normally the one that sits in there, and if they can just build that partnership, because it looks like, if Johnny's not fit, it could be them too.
Well, that's it as well. We're talking about it's an opportunity here in pre-season for Hayden Coulson, also an opportunity for Dan Barlaser.
Yeah, I think it's an opportunity for everyone.
Yeah.
I say in pre-season it's about getting into the manager's head and showing them what you're capable of doing, and boys at this moment in time playing against a very good side that will play possession football. They can't get the ball off us at the moment.
And just going back to Dan Barlaser, who's on the ball now inside his own half and looks to pick out a pass to Crooks. Hold that thought, because Crooks striding forward and out to the right hand side, feeds the ball into the path of Marcus Force. Back to Tommy Smith, looking to deliver, and we know he can. It just glances off the head of Rodgers, who looks down at the turf in frustration, feels he maybe could have done better there, but just couldn't grow enough in that moment.
No, we attack in numbers. That's one of the things that I really like about this side, is that when we do get forward, there is lots of opportunities in that box, and the ball, I think from Tommy Smith, is a lovely ball, and Rodgers just can't get that direction, that power on it. It just skims off the top of his head and goes out for a throw on this side. But it's been a fantastic start from us.
On Barlaser, I mean, when he arrived at the club, he would have hoped to have established himself quite quickly, but didn't really work for him, did it? And that was down to the form of Johnny Howson, Hayden Hackney really keeping him out the side. So he'll be hoping to kick on this season, won't he, and make a statement.
You look at the armoury, you look at I would say, the qualities that you possess as a midfielder, and Dan Barlaser is a passer of the ball. He really is. He gets on it. The one thing I would say he lacks is that pace, that change of pace that Hayden Hackney has got.
Yeah.
But his thought process, his mind on that pass, it is razor sharp. It really is. I mean, he sees things before anyone sees things, and he's such a clever footballer. I'll tell you now, if he had that pace about him, and it's not a bad thing, by the way, but if he did have that pace about him, he wouldn't be here. He'd be one of the top leagues. Because I look at him and I think he's such a good, intelligent footballer.
Seny Dieng with a nice diagonal towards Force with the bright orange boots on, who just tangles with his defender and wins Borough a free kick, a throw-in, I beg your pardon, for good measure over on the far side. 14 minutes in, Real Betis 0, Middlesbrough 0 in this pre-season friendly on BBC Radio T Sport.
And you talk about the midfield. And we've talked about Hayden Hackney, Dan Barlaser, Riley McGree just shifting, floating around, making a nuisance.
Hayden Coulson picks up possession midway inside the Betis half, and infield now to Hackney. Once again thinks about the shot and does, and it just flashes wide at the right hand post of Claudio Bravo, who was scrambling down low to cover that post, and it just goes wide of the mark.
He's got that in his locker, and I want to see more of that from him, because he has got a strike on him, by the way. Technically passing, you've seen that, he's such a good player, but he can get forward, he can score goals and create goals, and there, 25 yards out, it opens up for him, he travels into this space and he lets one go and just goes past the near post.
Akawoko in possession, looking for a long searching ball down the near side for Real Betis. Just again though, skipping off the turf and away from Juan Cruz. So Borough pick up possession inside their own half. McGree, nice first time pass to Crooks.
Pass is unreal.
And now Crooks out to the right hand side for Force, who tries to zigzag past his defender but gets himself in a bit of a muddle. A cross delivered from Tommy Smith over the head of Morgan Rodgers, who accelerates out to the near side to try and close his man down, and Borough have a throw-in, but again, good build-up play, and you are practically purring alongside me.
You know what? I've been so impressed with this. I know it's only 10 minutes into the game, but I've got to say the two midfielders have been absolutely top draw. Barlaser, Hayden Hackney, so comfortable, and they demand the ball. They're not bothered if anyone's around him. You can see now Hayden Hackney on the ball, McGree as well,
and there's space for him to run into as well. He's got Rodgers to his left hand side, but he might go by himself. He just scuffs his shot there as he goes wide, well wide, and out for a goal kick. 15 minutes in, 0-0.
Riley McGree, that position that he's found out wide, that license just to drift in and just get on that ball and create havoc for the opposition. He does that so well. He's such an important player to this side for me, because he does make that extra man in midfield. We haven't got an out-and-out wingers in this team at this moment. I think Fours is the one that will stay out there and try and be a little bit robust and getting past his full-back and putting him, but McGree is the different one. He's technically gifted. He'll pick up lovely positions, and when he gets that ball and gets turned, he makes such a huge difference.
Well, he's on this left-hand side, McGree, and already we've seen him in the centre of the pitch. Over on the right-hand side, we've seen him dropping back and getting his tackle in as well. But he has to be careful, because a switch of play here picks out Montoya with a bit of space in which to operate. Now Guardado.
Yeah, and you look at the shape, Rob, in front. They know they're a good footballing side, so they know they're going to have to keep a really good shape and frustrate Real Betis, because they'll pass it just as well as us. And there you're seeing there, they just got a little bit frustrated, try play a ball down the channel, but our shape is really good. It goes out for a goal kick.
I think Middlesbrough shocked Real Betis a little bit.
Yeah, I think they've been a little bit surprised on how we. Don't get me wrong, I think they'll have known exactly the way Michael Carrick plays, but in terms of us last season and the players we had, we've the lone players have gone away, and they might have thought, well, they're not as good as they were. But I'll tell you what, I mean, you talk about Spanish sides keeping the ball and moving it around.
Well, you think Middlesbrough with the Spanish side.
You think, at this moment in time, you think we were Barcelona, because we're knocking it around for fun and getting into good areas and creating problems for them.
Costa del Teesside is Dan Barlassa again. Beautiful diagonal ball and beautiful control from Coulson, and then through ball to McGree. Tries to cut it back for Rodgers. He might get a second stab at it though. He's been just ushered outside of the penalty area on this near side. He still finds the pass though, despite being surrounded by two white and green shirts. Coulson just ushered back towards the halfway line. He finds captain Darragh Lenihan, who also brings it on to Dale Fry, and now Tommy Smith as Borough switch it from left to right on the halfway line. But again, that pass from Barlassa, beautifully timed and weighted, and Coulson still had a bit to do with it to pluck it out of the air as a little pot shot from distance is just palmed down by Claudio Bravo in the Betis goal.
I think both sides are just over-covering. We did it there, and Riley has to get out, and so does Hayden Hackney, but you're sort of covering that next man. But as that ball's travelling, you can get there, you can move across the pitch and make it difficult for them.
Darragh Lenihan doing well to just stop a move in its tracks, but Real Betis keep hold of the ball out on the left hand side as they look to attack with Abner. Just blocked off there.
Free kick.
Yeah.
Tommy Smith goes in a little bit hard there. The lad gets past him, Abner, and he commits a free kick, foul, and it's deep inside our half on that left hand side.
See Manuel Pellegrini down in the dugout just to the left of Michael Carrick with that white long hair, arms folded, watching on. Always a very stern expression on his face of Manuel Pellegrini. Very rarely gets too animated. And Borough with a goal kick,
and you can see they're set up there looking to press, but at this moment, early doors, we never really got out, but getting out constantly.
Now Borough trying to play out from the back and almost causing their own problems. There's an opportunity here for Real Betis, but great defending from Hayden Hackney, who got across to just block
should score
the shot.
Should score, and that's the downside of when you get it wrong. It looks bad, doesn't it? Because Barlassa comes short, he's in the 18-yard box, he tries to play it to the side, and all of a sudden you're still playing me.
And Borough not being deterred by playing out from the back though.
And that, to be fair, is absolute top draw in terms of
mentality as well.
Having that mentality to get on that ball again when you've just made an absolute howler. And they should be one up, by the way.
And now Borough have turned defence into attack with Crooks and Force combining over on the far side, and it's going to be a corner to Borough, but Matt Crooks has stayed down.
He's all right.
He looks to be grabbing his shoulder. I worried for a minute there because the tree doesn't fall often, does he?
Yeah, that mistake there, you're looking in, it was a little pass into Barlasser. He thinks there's no one to his right-hand side, but he plays it straight to the man. The man is literally right-hand side of the penalty spot. He should score.
Force with an opportunity here at the byline, cuts it back to Crooks, just trying to bulldoze his way through, being helped by Riley McGree. Back out to Force on the far side, through the legs of the defender, comes back to McGree, dancing inside the box, trying to create the angle to get it across away, and it's blocked out behind for a corner. Borough's 5th.
I've got to say, we've been the dominant force. I said that the other night at Rotherham, but when you're playing a top side that finished 6th in the La Liga, you expect them to have a lot of the ball, but it's not the case.
Barlasser now with another good ball to pick out Force. Almost comes off. Barlasser with another opportunity, but is Force offside? He's offside as Crooks, just as well he was offside, because
I don't think he was.
Well, he cuts it back, does Force, to Crooks, who's right on the 6-yard line, and he's just leaning back as he tried to side foot it in, lifted over the crossbar of Claudio Bravo. A round of applause from the Borough fans in front of us, though.
I tell you what, I don't think he's offside there. I think he breaks the offside line because we're right level with it, and I think he's a good yard on side. He squares it at Crooks. How Matt Crooks has missed that, I will never know in all of my life, because he's literally 2 yards out and he's put it over the bar. I think he sees the linesman's flag go up and he gets a little bit lackadaisy, and yes, it goes over the bar, and thankfully he puts his hand up and thinks, thank God he put that he put that flag up. But I tell you what, we have been absolutely right bang on it in terms of that pass and the movement, and you can do that passing and movement, but you've got to create opportunities, and my word, they have certainly done that, Rob.
Hayden Coulson doing very well, beats one challenge and then is clattered by Andreas Guardano, who is just been pulled back by the referee here. Hayden Coulson has stayed down, and that's going to be a worry with not much cover at left back, but I think he will be alright to carry on. Hayden Coulson, he brushed past the first challenge, and then the second one was, well, certainly one that you couldn't brush past because it absolutely clattered him. Borough have taken the quick free kick back to Smith. Now Dale Fry, who squares it to Darragh Lenihan. Real Betis just switching across. Coulson back on the ball, moving a bit more freely now.
Pellegrini's out of his area, and he is absolutely as frustrated as any manager you will see. As I said before, he would expect his side to dominate that ball and get hold of it and pass it around, and it's not. It's being us moving it, but getting into them good areas and creating the opportunities that we've done.
Rogers tries to lay it off for McGree after some good work from Dan Barlasser once more. Tell you what, as much as I know people will be picking out Hayden Hackney this afternoon already, and what are we, 24 minutes in, it's 0-0 on BBC Radio T Sport, and Hackney has been a standout player, but Dan Barlasser's passing this afternoon has been brilliant, and he's on the ball again to Force, hits it straight back, was looking for Tommy Smith but just got his calculations wrong, and who's back there covering to stop the counter? Hayden Hackney.
Now, you come to games and you want to see the shape of your side, you want to see how they're developing as a team this season, and we had them first 2 games, and yes, we played a few young lads, and I mentioned before this game I would love to see a few senior ones come in, not seniors, ones that make a difference. But you talk about taking your chances, and against a good side, they've certainly done that. I still think we do need options. We still need that little bit of magic, in and around Rob. Me personally, I think I'd love to see.
I think there's many who'd agree with you, Neil.
Yeah, I'd love to see 2 or 3 players come through the door that really make that difference, make your bench a lot stronger, when things aren't going well. But right now, I've got to say, I have been so impressed with this, the way we've played. We've created lots of chances. We've caused them so many problems.
Corner to Real Betis, then it's going to be an outswinger, left-footed, and a header right down to the front post, and it comes off a Real Betis man and out for a goal kick. I just wondered there if he was going to point for another corner. I wondered if it came off Dale Fry, but the referee pointing for a Borough goal kick. Dale Fry stood over it.
And once again, their stance, they're going to press. 1, 2, 3, 6 players forward for Real Betis. 6 players, so you're looking to try and outmanoeuvre them.
And Borough not afraid to take on that challenge of the press either.
No, they're not. They want to do it, but teams will come and teams will look at you and they will think, if they want to do that, we're going to catch them out. We are going to catch them out. We make sure, and they'll work at certain things in terms of, us playing out from the back. They'll try and catch us out offside that ball.
Yeah, Abner offside, just straying beyond Marcus Force and Tommy Smith over on that far side as Morgan Rogers got an issue here. He's just crouched down on the pitch on this near side. Sorry.
And then just talking about that, I think that's where we have to have that other option. There's got to be a few more options to playing constantly like that, because we nearly got caught there literally 10 minutes ago. It should have been 1-0 to Real Betis. The lad should put it in the back of the net because we get caught. But I think, remember before, we were just dropping balls into midfield, into Tuba, dropping balls into Riley McGree, and then bang, getting in front of the high press and missing that high press out. I think them options are vital to us, but listen, I think at this moment I'm so enjoying the way we played.
But now an opportunity for Real Betis to try and spring a move forward with some nice one-touch passing, and
Dale Fry's in the book, I think.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Riley McGree is waving on for the medical staff, and now Dan Barlaser looks to be some real concern here as a Borough player is down on the turf. Well, it was Marcus Force, Dan Barlaser, all waving for the physios to come on.
Yeah, it was a little 1-2 played by Real Betis, and lad gets away on the left hand side. He's driving inside centrally. He's near the D, isn't he, on that left hand side, and he gets brought down. I think Dale Fry pushes him over, and it certainly is a free kick, but
I think it might be Tommy Smith. I'm just trying to pick out who it is. It's not Dale Fry who was...
No, Dale Fry's stood up, isn't he?
He stood up.
But I am not too sure who it is. Everyone's has a stretcher.
Yeah, they're saying the stretcher, which is...
No, it's not Barlaser. Barlaser's on the touch.
No, I think it might be Smith.
Yeah, I think it's Tommy Smith.
And, well, Terrell Adjumang is getting ready to come on, and
I like Terrell. I think he's a good player.
Yeah.
He's coming from Man City. He played midfield against Hartlepool, but I prefer him at right back. I think he's technically very good. I think we've got midfielders much like him at the football club, but we haven't got so much. Anthony Dijksteel is there. He's one that plays right back, and then you've got obviously Terrell that plays there as well, who's coming to the football club, and I quite like him at right back. He's not a bad player.
Well, but
it's disappointing for
Tommy Smith, isn't it?
Tommy Smith, because straight away the lads were rolling their hands and shouting for the medical team to come on. You know what?
And he's still flat on his back.
Yeah, I just hope it's maybe a little bit of concussion or something. Is he collided with someone and I just hope it's not a twist or a...
Well, and it's difficult because I think we must be 70, 80 yards away, and it's over on the far side of the pitch, and just looking at the way in which Tommy Smith is laying and where the physios are positioned, it looks like they are putting one of those air braces around his right leg, which we really, really hope that isn't as serious as it looks. But you never want to see a stretcher called onto a pitch at any time, but especially pre-season.
Also as well, which I quite like as well, Rav Vandenberg has started to warm up. Is there a possibility that he could play out there at the right back? He's a good size, very good pass to the ball. Terrell is exactly the same as well, and he knows that position. Rav is an out-and-out centre-half, but could he go out there on the right-hand side spot? We'll have to wait and see. They'll have to wait and see what Michael Carrick thinks, because both of them are now starting to warm up, aren't they, Terrell and Rav Vandenberg?
They are, and Rav Vandenberg, 6'5", Dutchman.
No, I wouldn't say 6'5".
No, he is. He's 6'5". Yeah, 6'5". Yeah. 19 years of age, and I tell you what,
he is a big lad.
I never looked like that when I was 19. I don't know about you. You probably did.
No, I didn't. He's not 6'5".
Well, that's what the stats say, my friend.
I'm going to get it open.
You go on. You get your Wikipedia open.
Let me have a quick look.
6'3", I'm told reliably. All right, what's
6'3".
What's 2 inches between friends?
A lot.
Speaking from experience, there, Neil. Clearly,
it looks like he's going on as well.
Yes, it does look like it's going to be 6'3" Rav Vandenberg, who's going to come on, rather than Terrell Adjumang, who just in front of us, stretching out his right hamstring and dusting the blades of grass from his red boots. But meanwhile, Tommy Smith still being loaded onto the stretcher here, so we are going to have some stoppage at the end of this first half. 31 minutes on the clock if you're just joining us. Real Betis 0, Middlesbrough 0, but Borough have been so impressive in this first half after just holding off some early Real Betis attacks and opportunities, and Morgan Rogers with a chance in the first half as he broke away. The ball fed into his path and his shot was saved by Claudio Bravo. That was one of the best opportunities of the game so far, but a big long stoppage in play after Tommy Smith went down awkwardly and colliding with the Real Betis forward, and there was some concern on the Borough players' faces as they quickly waved on for the physios, and Tommy Smith with his hands over his face as he goes down the tunnel, and Michael Carrick just watching on and giving him a consolation pat on the chest. But that, Neil, does not look good, does it?
No, it doesn't. Obviously that brace round his leg, doesn't look good at all, and I feel for him because you're literally a few weeks away from the
2.5 weeks away,
and you're looking forward to that game because no doubt he will be starting. This is, to be fair, the free kick now is in a really.
It is indeed. It's over the wall, but straight into the gut of Seny Dieng, and it was William Carvalho who tried to just curl it round the wall and beat Dieng, but it didn't have the height or the power behind it, really.
You know what? Rav Vandenberg over on the right hand side, it's going to be interesting to see how he gets on there, because as I said, he's a good size, he's got a little bit of pace about him, technically on the ball he's very good, great passer, great vision, comfortable. Can he do a job out there? Because that looks a nasty injury for Tommy Smith coming out stretcher. I hope it's not, but with 2 weeks to go before the season starts, that's a position that you'll be looking at now and thinking, well,
yeah, what can
he do a job? Can he do a job out there?
And this afternoon we will find out, because he's still got plenty of time in which to show what he can do in that position, even if it's not his natural position on the field. Brought in as a centre back from Pek Zwolle. Many teams looking at Rav Vandenberg, some big teams in Europe, but he opted to come to Michael Carrick's Middlesbrough because he said, I know I'm going to, I want to play games, and this league is a good league for me to develop.
And rightly so. I think sometimes you get drawn into the history of football clubs, you get drawn into
the bright lights.
Yeah, you do. And I think, for his, especially for his career, a 19-year-old boy, I think he's going to get some game time here. Absolutely, will he? Other than going to Inter Milan or wherever.
Borussia Dortmund was the other one looking at him.
Yeah, going there. So
as the ball won by Barlasser to pick out Hackney. Hackney sliding in to keep hold of the ball and does well. Finds McGree now to the blonde hair of Rogers once more. McGree just keeps the ball moving. A nice 1-2 with Hackney on this near side as the pair work in nice little angles. But Borough run themselves into trouble. Good sliding challenge by McGree to try and win it back, but the ball rolls the way of the white and green shirts, and it's a throw in to Real Betis midway inside their own half. And McGree's putting a shift in today, isn't he? Yeah, absolutely, putting himself about.
The lads have been really good. I tell you what, if I was Pellegrini, I'd have me scouts watching Hayden Hackney this season. No doubt about it.
And don't say that. Let's not give them any insight.
Listen, I'm just telling you. Because I know it's only a pre-season game, but we've had the luxury of seeing him last season, and yes, he had a little spell where it wasn't really happening, but you've got to remember, he's a young boy. He's still a young kid. He's got so much developing to do, and he's only going to get better. And he's playing against a top quality side here, and I tell you what, he's absolutely run the show.
William Carvalho with the ball over the top, looking for Juan Cruz, but bounces through to Seny Dieng in the Borough goal away to our right. And now Dan Barlaser, first thing he does is lift his head and hit a diagonal ball towards Rodgers, but the ball just too much on that.
He'll be disappointed with that,
yeah,
because that is on, and I like the way we've mixed the game. You've played from the back, and I said it before, you have to mix that game up, and all of a sudden Rodgers on the shoulder of the centre half, he plays it over the top, and it goes too long, but he's got a great passing range, Dan Barlaser, as well as Hayden Hackney, and you'll be disappointed that it's gone a little bit too far there.
How many subs did you have at half-time against Rotherham? 11?
Yeah.
I think we might have the same for Real Betis this afternoon. There's a huge number have just come out to warm up right down in front of us.
Where are they going after this?
The United States to play Burnley. Why? Who knows? Long ball over the top that Seny Dieng just comes out to claim under a bit of pressure. Balls it out underarm as Hayden Hackney picks up possession inside his own half.
Seny Dieng, he's got an understanding of the game as a keeper. That sweeper.
Yeah, he's speaking to Mark, wasn't he, in midweek, saying how he'd settled in really well to the area. I'm not surprised, because I know the estate agent who sold him his house, and it's a nice gaff.
Is it?
It's a very nice house. So yeah, I think anybody would settle in if he had a house like that. Real Betis in possession on the edge of their own half. And a mistake that Riley McGree pounces on. Needs a bit of help though as he circles back on himself. Finds Barlaser. Now McGree to Hackney, who lifts his head and just nudges a little pass into the path of Crooks, who finds Coulson. He tried to cut it back, but way too much power on that, and Rav Vandenberg has just kept it in over on the far side.
I actually think he should go for goal there.
Yeah, I thought the same.
Right foot gamble, he's coming onto it.
Well, now Borough almost trying to walk it into the back of the net there between McGree, Crooks and Rodgers, but Lou's out and Hackney has fouled his man as Real Betis tried to spring the counter, but a free kick the way of the Spanish side inside their own half with less than 10 minutes to go till half time.
There'll be plenty of stoppage time as well, don't know, for Tommy Smith.
Yeah, you really hope that is not as bad as it looks, but
as I said before, I think if it's concussion, and it's not so bad because you can pretty much quickly get over that, and maybe you have, I think you have a week or so, 10 days off, haven't you? So you can still possibly keep his fitness up and do okay. But if it's a twist, if it's a break, if it's one of them knees
fracture or anything like that,
it's just it'll be so disappointing for him.
Disappointing for Michael Carrick also, who will no doubt have to reassess his transfer priorities. Do you think?
You've got Anthony Dijksteel, who's I'm not sure if he's injured, if he's out at the moment, and then you've got Rav Vandenberg over there, and you've got Terrell as well that can play in that right back spot. So he's got three options, and them three options are capable.
Now Borough looking to play out from the back. They're inside their own penalty area with Hayden Hackney, who goes back inside his 6-yard box to Dieng. Now to the edge of the penalty area for Dale Fry.
I've got to say, honestly, the bravery of doing that is something else. But
now McGree has picked out Rodgers, running at the defence, tries to skip infield and then just has his pocket picked. Tries to win it back, but a heavy touch sees a ball drop the way of the white and green shirts, and Rodgers once again, you can see the grimace on his face as he tries to stretch out those extra few yards and inches and wins it back.
You look at Rodgers, and I don't think he's blessed with that pace that Cameron Archer has, but he is a good player. You can see he's got a feel about him. He's got a really good touch. He's a big unit as well. He's a real big unit, and he'll be looking to impress, because he'll be the one that wants to start up there. I still think we need another one in. I really do, just to build that competition. But I've got to say, good play from Real Betis.
Real Betis with Carvalho and Cruz combining on the near side. Hackney does a full 360 to turn away from his man. He's playing out his skin, isn't he? You're enjoying watching him, aren't you?
Yeah, I love that. You remember when you were on your BMX?
Yeah, did you ever do that where you used to crush the can and put it in the back of your wheel to make it sound like a motorbike? No? That must just have been a Stockton thing. That's what we used to do. Darragh Lenihan in possession, wearing the captain's armband this afternoon. Looks forward and finds Hackney, who turns, draws his man in, and then whips himself away from his marker. As Borough pick up possession with Dale Fry now. Looks to stretch out those long legs of his. Finds force with the step over, the feints, and it cuts it back to Riley McGree. It just skips away from him, McGree there. Real Betis pick up possession inside their own half. 4 minutes to go. At the end of this first half, there will be quite a lot of stoppage time, you would expect as well, after that injury to Tommy Smith. If you're just joining us, went down, looked a nasty injury, was stretchered off after getting some treatment on the field for some time. But Borough at 0-0, you would say deserved to be in the lead, especially with that chance with Morgan Rogers in that early in that first half.
Well, to be fair, they've had a great chance, haven't they?
Yes.
And that was down to our, overplaying at the back, and you've got to say they should have scored as well. So, but in terms of football, playing, possession, no doubt about, there's only one team that's been, it's us. We've been excellent. I used to have a tomahawk.
Did you?
Yeah, you won't know one of them.
No, I'm aware. I'm aware.
Are you?
Yeah.
I used to have a tomahawk. People don't know if they're...
Riley McGree just trying a little pass round the corner to Marcus,
gets it back
to Ram van den Berg.
I'm not too sure that was about.
Well, Middlesbrough, I think it's a free kick to Real Betis, just left hand side of the penalty area. See, I just used to get my brother's hand-me-downs when it came to bikes or anything else.
My older brother had he had a chopper.
Yes, yeah.
I had a tomahawk, with the long seat, that long pointy seat.
I had a rally bike that had the aerodynamic discs on, like the proper, but I took them off because it just used to make it go so slow, and it used to rattle. That's because my brother just absolutely destroyed it. Anyway, Real Betis on the attack with Juan Cruz with a step over, edge of the area, floats it into the area, headed up and out by Van den Berg. Barlaser just helps it on its way.
McGree's been excellent as well, He really has. He's been such influential play in terms of getting on the ball, picking up the positions, and you know what, doing his work defensively as well. He doesn't shake that defensive role either. He loves to get forward, yes, and pick up lovely positions and try and get his ticking going forward. But I tell you what, he works ever so hard getting back as well, helping his teammates out.
Real Betis in possession, waiting to see how much stoppage time at the end of this first half, but it is 0-0 on BBC Radio T's Sport. Thanks as always for your company as we build up to Middlesbrough's Championship season starting on the 5th of August when they go and take on Millwall. But so far, Middlesbrough doing well in this pre-season friendly against a step up in opposition against the Liga side.
When they have had the ball going forward, Rob, they haven't been able to cut us. It's a poor header from the lad, hasn't it?
And Riley McGree races in and he's chopped down there brutally by Martin Montoya, and there's a yellow card, and rightly so, because Montoya was nowhere near that.
Yeah, he come from behind. Riley McGree's comes from behind. It's a poor header, defensive header from them, and we break down this left hand side, and it's a poor challenge.
And he was never getting to that, was he? In a million years, he was never getting to that.
They really trust each other passing that ball. Doesn't matter if they've got men around them. They've got to see that next pass. And
well, amazingly, there's only 2 minutes of stoppage time, would you believe?
Wow.
Clearly, the ref needs to get away this evening.
We do. We've got a few Borough kids in front of us, haven't we?
We have, yes.
All right, lads.
I think they'll be asking for your autographs come half time, won't they?
I tell you what, it's been a great turnout.
It has.
Considering that you're a couple of hours up the road, this full stand that we're sat in right down the end, it is full, pretty much full of Borough fans. Other than that contingency,
the real Betis fans away to our right.
But the weather, to be fair, it's not raining.
No, it's eased off, hasn't it?
Yeah,
after what was a miserable start to the morning. We were driving down the M1 and it was
awful,
absolutely brutal, wasn't it?
Yeah, awful.
But clearer skies, or at least no more rain at present. Still grey skies above us, with Betis looking for a long ball forward. Senny Dieng comes out of his area and just grabs it out of the path of the onrushing Betis player, who's trying to latch onto that through ball. Now Borough trying to turn defence into attack with a diagonal ball out to the right hand side for Marcus Force, but gets away from him. He acknowledges the quality of the ball forward, but just got away from him there, Maddo.
Yep. To be fair, you look at the way we've played so far, and the mixed up in terms of play that we've done, playing through the ranks, playing through midfield. We've also got that option of going in behind the long ball. It's been such a joy to watch, and I used to say that week in, week out. There's the half-time whistle, but I used to say that week in, week out last season, didn't I? In terms of the way we played, especially in the second half of the season when we were beating teams and when we had that team on the pitch, our loan signings, I mean, we were absolutely fantastic. But I've thoroughly enjoyed that first half performance. I really have, because there's keeping the ball, but there's keeping the ball and going places and trying to hurt the opposition, and that's exactly what we've done. The amount of chances we've created, the amount of balls we put in the box. Yes, the keeper's pulled off a few good saves, and yes, maybe that final ball into the box could be a little bit better, but I've got to say, 10 out of 10. Really, really positive performance from the boys.
So 0-0 at the break. Middlesbrough with opportunities in that first half, the best of which came from Morgan Rogers, who was played in by Dan Barlasser, through ball which he picked up on the 18-yard line. He slalomed his way into the penalty area, and his right-footed shot was saved by Claudio Bravo at close range. And Real Betis, though, had their opportunities as well. A defensive mistake from Borough at the back as they tried to play out almost caused their own problems, but the opportunity was blocked and seen away by Hayden Hackney. Raced back to do his defensive duties, but from that moment Borough had possession and they had their upper hand, as they had constantly pressure on the ball. They were working their way up the pitch. Some beautiful passing displays from Dan Barlasser and Hayden Hackney in particular, and only a stoppage in play midway through that first half after a really nasty looking injury to Tommy Smith, who was beaten by his opposite number, pulled his man down and seemed to come off worse in the exchange. Needed some extensive treatment on the field before being stretchered off with his hand over his face and a leg brace around his right foot. Hopefully not as bad as it looked, which is the only real sour note on that first half. We'll of course find out from Michael Carrick after the game when we speak to him, of which you can find that on our Twitter page when we're all said and done here at BBC Tees Sport. But at the break, it's 0-0 between Middlesbrough and Real Betis. Second half commentary to come, and we'll have a roundup of the cricket, and we'll talk Hartlepool United after this.
BBC Radio Tees Sport.
BBC Radio T Sport, that was Hartlepool United's new signing Manny Desirue as Pools take on Blythe this afternoon in their pre-season friendly. Had the opportunity to sit down and talk with Manny Desirue, one of the new signings from Halifax earlier this week. If you missed that, if you joined it halfway through, you can see and listen to the full thing on our Twitter page at BBC T Sport or via BBC Sounds, where you'll also find a long in-depth interview with Pools boss John Askey as Pools face the prospect of National League football next season, starting away at Barnet on the 5th of August. Just the small task of a 252-mile trip to Barnet on the first day of the season. What's not to love? Hey, what's not to love? Thanks for being with us, myself, Rob Law, and Neil Madison here from Chesterfield, where Real Betis are I was going to say hosting, but they're not, are they? Because if they were hosting them, we'd be in Spain, and the weather would be much better.
Oh, gutted.
Yeah, and we'd be sat here with some beautiful paella or something like that, but we're not. Instead, we've got tea and hobnobs. So we're in Chesterfield.
Hey, can't beat that one.
You can't. It's not to be sniffed at. Real Betis against Middlesbrough in their pre-season friendly. We're awaiting the teams to come out of the tunnel. Can see the officials just stood by the mouth of the tunnel as some of the players start to make their way back out. But while they do that, I just wanted to mention this. This is Wayne, who's been in touch on Twitter, who says, worrying the situation that's facing Borough next season, Maddo. 23 assists, 47 goals between Akpom, Archer, Ramsey and Giles. Akpom's future still unclear, and it's a worry. It's a lot to replace in terms of goals and assists. I fear for Borough if we don't replace them. What do you think?
You know what, I agree, because I've got to agree, because that, you take, if just say for instance Akpom, where are you going to get 30 goals? It's going to cost you a lot of money to get 30 goals. You know, Archer, when he came in, 11 goals in half a season. Then you had Ramsey, who made a huge difference, a massive difference, and that's what I said before. You know, even though you look at this side and how well they have done, and they have done well, I can't criticise them. I think they've been absolutely excellent. But the brutal fact is that you're taking away a lot of goals and a lot of assists from the players that you had last season, and they're difficult to replace. Now you've tried to replace him with, I think, potential, because you have got some potential on the pitch there, real potential, and you're hoping that potential can flourish, can kick on and do well next season. But as at the beginning of the show I said to you, I still feel we need to be a little bit more, we still need that quality through the door to get you into the top half, to get you where you want to go.
Which is promotion to the Premier League.
And it is. I say the nucleus of the squad, if you look at that squad now and the way they've played, you're quite happy. But a long season, you need reinforcements. You need that real quality in the Championship, definitely, to make a difference. And I agree with Wayne and know exactly where he's coming from. I think myself, and I think the football club will understand that as well. But Michael Carrick will understand that. He'll look at that squad that he had last season and think, if I can replicate that, we've got a great chance. And no doubt we will have a great chance. If you can keep Akpom, if you get them players back, or that type of quality, you are going to have a great chance of achieving something next season, because you'll have Michael Carrick for the full season and playing the type of football and hopefully getting the results that you want.
And you will know, being involved in football at all levels, that a transfer window isn't thought of and navigated in the space of 1 month. This is something, in terms of the transfer window, that is planned for well in advance. Targets are sought after and identified from the earliest possible moment. So Michael Carrick will know exactly what irons he has in the fire and what he hopes to do between now and the end of the window and the start of the season.
No doubt about it. You look at the recruitment we did last season, you look at the recruitment at Christmas, I mean, that's one of the best recruitment, I would say, guaranteed one of the best the club have had in a long time. because we played some unbelievable good football, and people used to say, wow, how good have we been, how good are we to watch? And we were excellent. Now at this moment in time, I'm watching the game now, and I tell you what, we've been excellent.
Yes.
But I'd still like them players that we got and that type of quality.
It's Middlesbrough on the attack early in this first half. A cross-come shot that's palmed away by Claudio Bravo. It hangs up in the air. Mike Falter Crooks can't get on the end of it. There's a foot in there from Rav van den Berg, but instead the referee has waved away any appeals of a free kick, and it's balled out underarm by the Real Betis goalkeeper. There's been plenty of changes at the break, which you can probably imagine. Just glancing around the pitch, because we don't have the quality of we don't have the quality of the fourth official's board or anything. I laughed because I turned to Neil Maddison. He just put his hand up to me while he was scranning a chocolate hobnob. So Neil Maddison, it is pre-season, has his priorities well in check in Chesterfield this afternoon. Bojan Iglesias has come on for Real Betis. They're number 9, one of their leading strikers. So he is on, as is William Jose, and I suspect a few others, which we might just have to work out as we go. But Middlesbrough are unchanged at the break. So Seny Dieng in goal. Tommy Smith went off injured in that first half, was replaced by Rav van den Berg at right back. Dale Fry, captain Darragh Lenihan and Hayden Coulson. And then your sitting defensive, I said defensive midfield, although they've been very much involved in the attack, of Hayden Hackney and Dan Barlasser, with a forward 3 of Riley McGree, Matt Cooks and Marcus Force supporting Morgan Rogers up front. You finish your hobnob yet?
Yeah. Rogers, for me, I said it before, I think pre-season you look at him, he's not an archer that will go down the sides. He is technically gifted, and he needs them good players around him. And Riley McGree, Dan Barlasser, you've got Hayden Hackney, the passes. He's got a really good touch. You're looking for him to score at least as many goals as Archer scored, and he's had a few chances today. But I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful him, because I said he's technically very good.
As the offside flag goes up on Matt Crooks over on the far side, as Middlesbrough kick from left to right in this first half. So we will get a perfect view of Middlesbrough playing out from the back when they choose to do so, which they did with almost stubbornness in that first half, didn't they? Even though it almost cost them a mistake, it caused them some problems at the back. They immediately...
He's offside.
Yeah, offside flag surely going up for Iglesias, and it is. So no escape on that one, as the Dieng grabs the ball and tosses it to the feet of captain Darragh Lenihan, and Borough build from the back.
The one thing, you look at them now, they were a team that were pressing. Now all of a sudden they're a team that are sitting off. They're a team that are not going to press, they're going to sit off, and they're going to make it difficult. They're trying to keep a good shape now to stop us from getting beyond them. And we've got to really work hard to get beyond them, because from the keeper, you've seen them, Rob, there was no real high press from Real Betis.
Yeah, it's a very clear change of tactic by Manuel Pellegrini, isn't it, in the second half?
I think you bypass that press. Bypassed the back press so many times. They nearly caught us out, don't get wrong, they should have scored, but the majority of the time you really did, and it hurts him. And now all of a sudden he's changed tack. We're going to sit off, we're going to allow him to have it at the back, and we're going to make a defensive wall, 3 units defensive wall. We're going to find how good they are to try and get to us.
Real Betis,
and it's up to us to try and do that.
Absolutely. And this is we were talking about it right at the start of the show, that pre-season you want to get different opposition that are going to give you different type of looks,
no doubt,
to simulate what you're going to come up against in the actual season when we get up and running. Ayoze Perez running it, Rav van den Berg cuts it back to Iglesias, looking to shift it onto his right foot. Instead finds another white and green shirt clipped into the area, easily dealt with by Darragh Lenihan though, who chests it into the path of Barlasser, and Riley McGree is being brought down by Iglesias, and Borough have a free kick midway inside their own half.
I've got to say, Lenihan, for me, has been a real standout player in the pre-season games. I think he's been superb. The coolness and calmness of him there, just chesting it down, knowing what's around him. You know, I truly believe if Johnny Howson is not fit and the armband is on Darrell Lenihan, he'll keep that.
Betis on the attack though on the right hand side. Stepovers driving to the byline, cut back but blocked by Coulson. A shot which is flashed over the crossbar of Seny Dieng by Martin Montoya, who runs back into his right back spot, and Dieng there just passing on some information to Coulson, who did well to block that initial cross, and Borough prepared to play out from the back.
And now the high press is there, and you've bypassed it straight away, because that ball into midfield, you try to go to Morgan Rogers there, but doesn't quite get his body in. Good play from Hackney.
Does well to win it and then clips it into space for Crooks to run onto down the right hand side. He just lets the ball slow to a trickle and then arrives at it and wins a throw-in for good measure. But Hackney, when he gives that burst, Hackney, I mean, it really can just switch the
I think that's
the
the difference. You look at Barlas and you look at Hayden Hackney. That's the one thing that Hayden's got. He can get past players. He travels with the ball so well. Dan is certainly a good passer of the ball. When he's got time, he's really good. But Hayden, for me,
some good build-up between Riley McGree, Marcus Force, and then McGree trying to lift the ball into the path of Rogers. A shot right across the surface, which was just pulled wide by Marcus Force. But a good opportunity, left-footed, and had the Real Betis keeper scrambling away to his left-hand post.
He doesn't get the right connection. I think it was Rogers that gets a shot off. Doesn't get the right connection, but it does worry the keeper a little bit.
And it is a change of goalkeeper as well. So Claudio Bravo has gone off at half-time, being replaced by Rui Silva in between the sticks. So much changed Betis side in this second half by Pellegrini. Middlesbrough in possession, looking very confident on the ball as well.
The pattern of play hasn't really changed, has it?
No, as Juan Cruz does well there. Close control with the socks halfway down his shins, trying to wriggle his way through down that right hand side, but Borough stop him illegally though, so says the referee, who blows for a free kick quickly taken. Now,
great following as well, as said it before. Great following from the Borough supporters to come all the way to Chesterfield. His full stand is absolutely chock-a-block.
Yes, it's the main stand on this near side of the pitch. All the other three stands are all closed off, but this main stand is pretty much full, isn't it? Barring a few seats away to our left-hand side, but a brilliant following from the Borough support as Dale Fry picks up possession at the base of the defence, putting pen to paper on a new contract.
I think they've shown a good quality, them two at the back.
Hackney finds McGree. Crooks couldn't touch it because he was offside. Rogers trying to chase through onto it, but Real Betis have it back. I wanted to touch on that actually, the new contracts. When you look around that squad, you have Dale Fry, new contract. Hayden Hackney, new contract. Matt Crooks, new contract. Michael Carrick is very clearly setting in place there, tidying up any loose ends, making sure he ties down those players who he believes has a future at the club. Yeah. It hasn't always been the case at Middlesbrough.
No, you're protecting yourself as well. Yeah. You know, that's what it's about. You're protecting yourself. They're not going on freeze.
Crooks does well to find Rogers, tries to give it back to Crooks as a 1-2, but the return pass from Rogers didn't have the same weight behind it, so it dropped short of Crooks, and Real Betis pick it up in their own half of play to work out from the back with Akuoko.
You, as I said before, Rob, you're protecting yourself. You're giving new contracts to players that deserve it, that are good players, that are capable in this division.
And for a player as well, I mean, that's important, isn't it? The fact that security when you're at a club and you're comfortable there, or you feel at home there. And obviously for Dale Fry and for Hayden Hackney, that goes without saying because they're local lads. But
I think Crooksy as well. I've got to say, I think Crooks absolutely loves being here.
And he said that when he was in conversation with Mark Drury on BBC Radio T Sport not so long ago, which is well worth a listen, Borough fans, on BBC Sounds. You can listen back to it in full. Matt Crooks in the studio for an hour, and he said he had conversations with Michael Carrick, and Carrick said to him, look, I can't guarantee you're going to play every week, but I want you to stay. And Crooks said, as soon as I heard that, I knew I wanted to sign. And he knows he's going to have to fight for his place, Matt Crooks, but he's up for the fight.
He was last season, wasn't he? He was a bit of a come on and try and get us out of trouble sort of player, because he certainly did that on a few occasions when he's very good in the air. Got it for me. He played up top as well a few times when you go a different route. But I will say certainly as a squad player, he's someone very useful to have.
Corner to Real Betis, 56 minutes on the clock. It's 0-0 here in this pre-season friendly at Chesterfield. Curled right down on top of Seny Dieng, who came out and didn't get on it. Didn't get a touch on it. But it has gone out for another corner after it was headed behind.
Yeah, it was whipped in with lots of pace, and it sort of catches Seny Dieng out, goes over the back post, and I think it's Big Dale Fry, it's Dale Fry that just clears the danger.
Guardado with this corner, another outswinger to the back post. Bodies arriving, headed up but not out. Borough need to clear their lines here as it falls to Iglesias inside the area, just hooked back towards the byline, and that cross blocked once again, this time by Darragh Lenihan for Real Betis. 6th corner of the game so far. And it's Juan Cruz to take it, who seems to have come alive in this second half. He was very quiet in the first, but has showed little glimpses of skill and trickery. He looks to whip this one in. Some real curl on it as well, in towards a 6-yard box, but headed away and cleared further by Riley McGree. Out towards Montoya, who stops the ball dead. Squares it to Akuoko. And Borough just shifting across, and you can see Rav Vandenberg constantly communicating and pointing out to this near side for the switch, but a long arching ball over the top that Coulson has to be alive to, and he is. Cruz once more stops the ball dead and goes back to Mark Rocker, former Leeds man. Thinks about the ball over the top towards Iglesias, but instead goes square and backwards. And this is a chance now for Borough to drop off and do what Real Betis were doing a few moments ago.
I just think there's going to be a period in the game where they get a little bit of possession. They haven't really hurt us, they haven't really caused us any problems. They've had 3 corners on the bounce there, but you've dealt with them pretty well. And all of a sudden they had a little bit of the ball, and the shape has been excellent. And now all of a sudden you've broken them. You've got a corner against Real Betis now. So you're looking to deliver this ball into the box and create a few problems. Although Dale Fry hasn't gone up, Lenihan's not there.
Even Hayden Hackney's sitting a little bit deeper, isn't he?
Looks like he's going to be taken short.
And Sammy Silveira comes out to warm up, and Middlesbrough take the short corner. It didn't quite work though, and it might break here for Juan Cruz, but being pulled back by the referee for a free kick to the La Liga outfit. You expect many changes in this second half? Well, there isn't many warming up at the minute, is there?
Silveira's just come on there, and I think...
Oh, it's Hayden Coulson. He gets caught out with a diagonal ball over the top. Juan Cruz running in field and just pulls his shot wide of the near post of Seny Dieng. He thinks he should have done better there. He had support to his left, but decided to go by himself.
Yeah, Hayden Coulson just gets caught underneath it. Doesn't quite read it. I've got to say it's a fantastic ball because it's fizzed, it's driven. And he just gets caught underneath it, but it's good play from Real Betis.
As Marcus Forss just keeps the ball in, but it's given away by Borough. Cruz once again trying to get it onto his right foot with the step overs inside the penalty area, tries to pick out a pass square. Instead Hayden Hackney is there, and he unleashes the run of Riley McGree, who accelerates across the halfway line. He's got Force to his right, Crooks to his left. McGree bearing down on goal to Force inside the area now, but just being ushered outside of it. He turns a full 360 back on himself to try and get to the byline. Wins the corner for good measure.
Yeah, Morgan Rogers is spare on the left-hand side, and McGree goes to the right-hand side because it's the closest pass. Taken quickly. It
is taken quickly, and Borough have an opportunity with McGree. Stops his studs on top of the ball. Finds Vandenberg. The bright orange boots on. Square to Fry, now Hackney once more, and Borough start to tick through the gears as Barlassa. A through ball to Rogers, wide right-hand side. He's offside.
Good ball as well.
It was. Well picked out there. But whenever Hackney and Barlassa combine in that midfield, Neil, good things tend to happen.
Yeah, they see a forward pass. You know, you've got to trigger that pass as well, and to be fair, Crooks, Morgan Rogers, Riley McGree, you got Fours up there. They make that run, and that pass is going to come.
More changes due for Real Betis as the substitutes down in front of us have just been called back to the dugout. And see some of the builders over on the far side in their high-vis jackets, watching on from the balcony on their lunch break, perhaps taking in a little bit of pre-season football.
Yep.
With the bait box in tow.
Good pressing from us. Yeah, they're trying to get out.
Real Betis in possession, and Borough just shifting across and trying to close off all the avenues. A free kick for Real Betis inside their own half, just not too far away from where Michael Carrick is situated in his technical dugout. He's always in his always in his technical areas, and he very rarely retreats to his seat, Michael Carrick. As Hackney does well to intercept a loose ball, but given away. Now Betis trying to accelerate away with Iosi Perez, the former Newcastle and Leicester City man. Perez receives it, edge of the area, nice turn, almost closes himself out, comes all the way through to the right hand side, an opportunity, a good save, strong wrists from Seni Dieng, but the danger not averted yet. Iglesias takes a heavy touch which allows Borough to try and clear, but Dan Barlassa was caught on his heels a little bit. There's Jose out to the right hand side for Montoya. Now Cruz once more, back to Montoya, looks to try and deliver into the box and does, and curls one home, and it's Iosi Perez who puts the Spanish side into the lead. It was Cruz and Montoya who combined on the far side into the box, and a first shot by Iosi Perez, first time that beats Dieng away to his right hand side. 63 minutes on the clock. It's Real Betis 1, Middlesbrough 0.
Yeah, you had opportunities to clear that ball as well, and you don't. And I think a few subs are going to be made as well from us, but the ball goes in. It's sort of in and around the penalty area, and Perez just swings his foot. It's a good finish, to be fair. Yeah. Swings it, he's just in front of the pen spot, and he swings his foot and it goes into the far corner because it's just spinning away from Seni Dieng, and he's not happy because he thinks someone should have stopped that cross. It's sort of a pass in, but I'm going to say it's been even Steven's second half. They've come back into it. I think you're looking here, I think Marcus Fours will be the one that comes off, and he's well, no, Matt Crooks is the one.
Yeah, Matt Crooks has done his day's work. He applauds the Borough fans. A low five to Marcus Fours, and a little pat on the back to Sammy Silvera, who comes on after opening his Borough account in midweek at Rotherham. Just the one change for Michael Carrick. Meanwhile, Manuel Pellegrini made about 4 in that moment, didn't he?
And Riley McGree will be the one just floating now, playing that Matt Crooks role, having the licence, because Sammy Silvera's gone on the left hand side and two central midfielders are still the same, and you can see Riley McGree just floating around centrally now, having that licence to cause a few problems and try and get that ball.
Hayden Hackney now looking to unleash the run of Silvera, and he does so, but the first touch from Silvera with the outside of his boot.
Lovely ball as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, he just couldn't control it in that first touch, could he, Silvera?
You know what? He's running, and the diagonal pass is there, and it's not stretching at all, really. And he just takes that ball away from him, his first touch.
Ball over the top that Real Betis will chase on this near side. Back it comes to Montoya. Bakayoko to Iglesias. Montoya once more. Ruibal. Now Visas, one of the second half substitutes by Manuel Pellegrini, who's right out on the edge of his technical area, pointing down to this near side, but Real Betis over on the far side with a enticing low ball into the area that Dieng is quick off his line to gather, and balls out underarm to Hayden Hackney, who waves his teammates up the pitch. 66 minutes on the clock. Real Betis 1, Middlesbrough 0. We're in possession with McGree. Out to Force. And back to Rav Vandenberg. As Borough try to build and navigate their way up the pitch. Force does well to skip past one challenge and another. Barlaser with a through ball towards Rodgers, but that's cut out. It falls away of McGree. Shifts it onto his left foot. A reverse pass to Rodgers, who's offside. And his shot at the front post was saved by Rui Silva. It wouldn't have counted anyway with the offside flag off, but it's twice now he's been just strayed beyond that last defender, Rodgers.
Yeah, there's not much space to go in behind because you're in the 18-yard box, and the pass has got to be perfect, and it was, but his run's also got to be perfect. It's got to be timed to perfection, because there's not, as I said before, there's not much room there to get him behind him. Twice now he's been caught offside just in them similar positions.
And you're right in what you say, that he's a very different proposition to Cameron Archer, isn't he? Rodgers looks more of a...
He's a footballer.
Yeah.
You know, he's technically gifted, but at the end of the day, you know, he's up there to score goals and create chances as well, and I think he will.
There's a corner to Borough, quickly taken as Isaiah Jones comes to warm up. That's the applause you can hear down in front of us. He turns to applaud the travelling Borough support as Hayden Coulson fighting away for it over on the far side. Does very well. And now Silvera finds McGree, cuts back to Rodgers, turns beautifully inside the box, but the shot is blocked. A second chance for Force, who lashes his right boot at it, but it's high and wide and behind for a goal kick. Still Real Betis 1, Middlesbrough 0, but that was some good chance, a good chance and good play.
Hayden Coulson does ever so well on the left hand side, hurries, puts the man under pressure, wins the ball back, and it's a lovely ball into Riley McGee, squares it, and his first touch, Morgan Rodgers, is really good. He swivels, he's just outside the 6-yard box on angle on the left hand side. He turns and gets his shot off, it's blocked, and it comes back to Fours, who hits it on the half volley just inside the 18-yard box centrally. He just mistimes it, and it goes well over.
It was nice little sleight of feet from Rodgers, though. He seems to have that in his game, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's got. There's no doubt in my mind. You can see he's more. If you think about Archer was more of a pace, power, instinctive sort of finisher, whereas Rodgers is a lot more cultured, a lot more technically. I would say he's gifted. He's got a good feel of the ball, good passing range. But as I said, it's like given it's basically like you've got to score goals. That centre forward is there to score goals, and you've got to give him the opportunities of creating chances for him, and they've done that. I would say they've done that today. I think we've created lots of chances.
Borough win a free kick and look to take it quickly with Barlaser, but Real Betis not allowing them to do so. Did you hear your own chant there? Mado, give us a wave. Mado, give us a wave. Away to your left.
I'm facing you. I wouldn't hear it. I'm deaf support, you know that.
Your fan club is in attendance, Neil Maddison. Well, little break in play here as Mark Rocker just ties his lace and Borough wait to take this free kick. Barlaser stood over it, slides it through to Force towards the corner flag, just been held up and watched every step of the way as he fights and scraps and battles for it, and instead the throw-in goes the way of Real Betis. Right next to the corner flag, you can see Michael Carrick as well down there, just waving over Isaiah Jones, and Manuel Pellegrini is going to make yet further changes.
How do you pronounce that, Rob?
Yassin Fakir is coming on.
It looks like Isaiah Jones is as well for us.
Yes, as Akuoko goes off, Fakir comes on, and quite a controversial player at times. Fakir was it Lyon not too long ago, where one of his celebrations sparked a riot inside the stadium. And
you know, I wouldn't know any of these other than is it?
I love your
Perez.
honesty. Yes, Jose Perez. Yeah. Oh.
I love the league. I love the Spanish league, but you tend to just watch Real Madrid, you know, Barcelona. It's
we're getting an education here this afternoon.
No, just I think first half I thought we dominated. Second half it's been even Stevens.
As Fakir pulls it back to the edge of the area, shot on the 18-yard line that's blocked by Borough. Now they look to counter, and the Borough fans in attendance trying to urge their side forward. McGree out to Force. Force tries to go the long way around his man and wins a throw-in for his efforts. But Yassin Fakir almost with an instant impact. Just waiting for... was slightly disappointed that Hector Bellerin isn't playing. You'll know him, former Arsenal man.
I don't. He plays.
He plays for them, yeah, but he's not on the bench. Although he is here. I saw him earlier on the pitch, just with his tracksuit on, going through his FaceTiming his friends or family, no doubt. He's known as quite the fashion icon, as are you, clearly, Neil Maddison. I mean, Hector Bellerin's got nothing on Neil Maddison. If you don't know what I'm on about, just Google Hector Bellerin.
I bet he doesn't wear metal Mickey hearing aids.
Yes, I suspect he probably doesn't. Not yet, anyway. Although time might not be as kind to him. Yeah. As Middlesbrough makes some changes, and Marcus Force, a single change, in fact, Marcus Force goes off, and Isaiah Jones comes on. A really insightful interview Isaiah Jones did this summer, which I would urge anybody to go and listen to. Talked about his struggles last season, opened up about some of the things going on off the field in his life, which was, I think, for a lot of fans, just really eye-opening, and incredible honesty from that young man, which is sometimes you wish there was a bit more of that in football. But it will be a big season for him as Real Betis attack a chance inside the penalty area, but Hackney just thunders it away, and Dale Fry has gone down, clutching at what looks like his right ankle.
I think he's just caught the boot. The boot comes in from the attacker, and Dale wins that ball. It was a 50-50. He clears it. He's just been caught. He's all right.
Yeah, he's holding the back of his Achilles, it looked like, but pulls himself up and hobbles off.
Well, you've got 15 minutes now, Rob, to try and salvage something from this game. First half, excellent. Second half, they've come into the game a lot more, and I would still say it's still even Stevens, but we haven't created the chances that we did first half.
Darragh Lenihan to Sammy Silvera, who's been quiet since he came on, but Borough haven't had a lot of the ball since he came on. He releases it quickly to Hackney. Rogers tries a first-time pass to Barlasser, doesn't quite meet its intended target, and Hackney chases a cute little back heel from Iglesias out towards the right-hand side, but it drifts out of play and away from Aitor Ruibal, who couldn't get on the end of it, and it is a throw-in. Over on the far side, as Neil Maddison said, 15 minutes left. Real Betis 1, Middlesbrough 0. A really entertaining first half, with Borough just dominating possession, some brilliant passages of play. Morgan Rogers with an opportunity to open the scoring, but was denied by the former Manchester City goalkeeper in Claudio Bravo. Borough almost playing themselves into trouble at the back in the first half, and an opportunity that Real Betis really should have punished Borough for, but instead Hayden Hackney racing back to do his defensive duties and block the shot. An injury to Tommy Smith, which could potentially sour the afternoon. And the second half, which hasn't been as entertaining, but it has led to a goal. Unfortunately, it's been against Middlesbrough, with Real Betis opening the scoring on 63 minutes. Montoya into Iosi Perez, who hit it first time as he latched onto it inside the box. It curled away from Seni Dieng, away to his right hand side to give Manuel Pellegrini's side the lead. And now Silvera's stayed down after clashing with the centre-back German Pazella. There's a few bumps and scrapes and niggles out there at the minute, isn't there?
I like that as well, because it's quite a competitive game. You know, it's not you have the ball, we have the ball. It's you know, when you're trying to get that ball back, you try and win it back, and you know, it's a few tackles have flown in as well, which rightly so. But second half, yeah, I agree, Rob. I think they've come into the game a lot more. I wouldn't say it hasn't been a dominant display for them. I think we're still in this game, we're still moving it around, but the chances that we had and we created first half haven't materialised. We haven't really had any clear-cut chances. You know, we've got into good areas and done all right, but we mentioned that before, didn't we, in terms of the first half performance and the players, but great skill.
Nice little touch around the corner from Hayden Hackney towards Silvera, picked up by Barlasser, who tries that diagonal ball, but Isaiah Jones hadn't quite read it, and it was a little bit wayward as well, wasn't it? Yeah,
he was never getting that. It was a poor ball from Dan. I mean, that's, as I said before, first half, his passing range is absolutely superb, and it just a little bit wayward there.
As Real Betis try a similar move, but cut out by captain Darrell Lenahan. Now Morgan Rogers goes by himself, tries to do it himself, brings in McGree as the ball just rebounds up off his shins, and the goalkeeper Rui Silva almost plays himself into danger by giving it straight to Isaiah Jones. Instead it's out, and it's a Real Betis throw-in away to our right by the corner flag.
I think sometimes as well we try and walk that ball in.
Yes,
he has a chance to shoot there. He's got the edge of the box. He plays the ball into McGree, who's in the 18-yard box, but don't get me, he's stretching, but I just love, go on, gamble, get your shot off.
McGree just out-muscled and outnumbered really on the edge of the Real Betis penalty area. There's an opportunity over on the far side now, but Hayden Coulson does beautifully well to pluck that ball out of the air and away from Aitor Ruibal.
Ball.
Now Hackney in towards McGree, who gets caught in the face by a high boot inside the D, and it's a free kick.
Great ball.
Borough in an inviting position.
It's basically bang central, right on the 18-yard line. He's been brought down. It's a lovely ball from Darrell Lenahan. Yeah. It's a floated ball over the top. McGree beats the offside trap. The centre half is trying to get back in, and his foot's raised. McGree chests the ball down here, catches Riley, and this is absolutely bang central. It is bang level with the penalty spot, and it's right on the 18-yard line. So interesting to see. Do you go for power? Do you go for guile? Do you feed it into that net? Do you find a little bit of a room? Maybe he's moved that ball first to create that little gap where you can put the ball into the net. Good opportunity.
It is. And Riley McGree...
I'll tell you what, that doesn't look 10 yards to me either. That looks really close, that wall.
Yeah, you're right. There's a 5-man wall over the top.
Oh, dear me.
And over the crossbar by Dan Barlaser. Well, Riley McGree was the dummy, wasn't it?
I think you've got to move that ball first. I think you've got to move that ball. The wall was a big wall, and just to create that opportunity, that space, just to guide it in. They're making wholesale changes here in the Borough. McGree's off.
Yeah, McGree, Morgan off as well.
Barlaser.
And Hayden Coulson coming off. On is coming
Hoppy.
Matt Hoppy.
Piero.
Yeah. We'll get a look also at Alex Gilbert again.
Yeah, Gilbert again, and Sam Collins.
So, what's that, 4-5 changes by Michael Carrick in this second half. But Gilbert, who scored his first goal for Borough in midweek against Rotherham, you saw a bit of him on Wednesday night. What did you make of him?
No, it's a good finish. Jack Stott does really well. Moves that ball and he gets into a good area. It's a difficult finish as well, but he gets hold of it with his left foot and puts it in the far corner. I'm looking forward to seeing Piero here now as well.
Yeah, and what of Matthew Hoppy as well? Because penny for his thoughts at this moment in time.
Well, he's a player that, as I said, has to impress, was trying to impress.
Piero, first touches to find Hayden Hackney inside his own half.
And Piero is sitting in midfield with Hackney.
Isaiah Jones plucks one out of the air. His first touch is to find Rav Vandenberg at the byline. Isaiah Jones is to his right if he needs him. Vandenberg tries to go by himself and go the long way around his defender. Almost comes off as well.
He's very unlucky there, Rav Vandenberg.
He tried to knock it one way and run the other, didn't he?
He was on the bar line and just tries a piece of skill in the right area as well. In the right area, just so unlucky it doesn't come off. Good defending.
You ever try that in your day?
No.
It's quite emphatic, that answer. No chance. Not at all. Diagonal ball over the top.
Offside.
And the offside flag is up on Juan Mi, who is just giving the gesture there to his teammate. He's needed that a little bit sooner. There's Michael Carrick once again perched on the edge of his technical area, hands thrust in his pockets and watching on. Borough trailing by a goal to nil if you're just joining us on BBC Radio T Sport. 8 minutes left to play. We're only with you till 4 o'clock this afternoon. Alex Hall coming up on the other side of 4 o'clock. We'll bring you all the post-match reaction. You'll get it on our Twitter page at BBC T Sport and via BBC Sounds. We'll get that up for you as soon as we have it when we speak with Michael Carrick after the full-time whistle here. Darragh Lenihan goes long looking for Matthew Hoppy, who wrestles with his man and comes out on top. Hoppy left-hand side of the penalty area, just has it taken off his toes and wins a corner for good measure.
You know, it's a good run from Hoppy. You know, a real intelligent run. There's a space in behind. They've squeezed over Real Betis and he sees that space, he comes short, then he bombs in behind and triggers that pass from Lenihan. Good play.
Taking the corner short, finds Lenihan. Now Hackney once more onto his right foot, tries a little reverse pass towards Hoppy at the byline, can't quite get there. It was a nice idea.
Yeah. You know, Hoppy, to be fair, out the games I've seen him, his runs are quite intelligent. You know, he makes them diagonal runs. He stayed on side there, and the pass from Hayden is I said, the trigger from the run, and the pass comes, and that's a good ball, just a little bit too heavy for Hoppy. I think he's been excellent, Hayden Hackney, today. Especially first half, I thought he was just a standout player, him and Barlaser. Second half, yes, they've had a lot more work to do, but still when he's on the ball, you're hopeful that he can create something. Such an intelligent player. He's come on leaps and bounds.
Oh, nice 1-2 between Collins and Silvera. Tries to play a through ball into the path of Hoppy, but just beaten to the ball and cleared by Real Betis. Picked up in midfield by Piero. First touch to Hackney and back again. Piero trying to get involved in the game and just hit first time passes to quicken the pace a little bit. Hackney.
Superb, honestly. Dear me,
good pass to Gilbert.
I can't believe how good a player he is, by the way. Honestly,
for his age as well, it's just incredible.
His movement and knowing what's around him, he's so clever. He's so intelligent. The ball there, it's a fisted ball right into him from Sonny Dieng, but he touches it. His touch is fantastic, and a quick change of pace, and just sells the midfielder, and just good play from
Isaiah Jones does well to win it, and then a cross, but it's just overhit and goes all the way through to the far side now for a Real Betis throw.
That's what frustrates you, because he does so
the hard bit.
He does the hard bit. He pinches the ball. He's ever so well, and then he has a mad rush of blood and just puts the ball in instead of getting his head up, looking and picking someone out, because he puts it in an area where nobody's there. And I think sometimes that's where you want to see that little bit of quality for him.
Borough, some nice interplay there between Hoppy and Isaiah Jones, but again, heavy first touch from Jones, and Real Betis with a long ball over the top. Sonny Dieng comes out to the edge of his 18-yard line and collects it and releases it quickly. Martin Pierre with the ball at his feet, big white boots on his feet, rolls his studs across the top of the ball. Fry now to Gilbert. Word about Sam Collins, one of the youngsters who came on.
Yeah,
what do you know about him? What should we know about him?
Sam's quick. For me personally, I think you would look to try and get him out on loan and ply his trade somewhere and get them minutes and competitive football week in, week out, men's football really. You're looking at that. It's pacey.
There's Hackney just dispossessed.
Yeah, it was a poor throw into him. It was
bounced up awkwardly for him,
right up to him. It's a difficult one, but to be fair, he wins it back, doesn't he?
Gilbert into Silvera, who turns away from his marker and then just releases the ball out to the left-hand side. Collins with a cross in towards Hoppy. It might come all the way through to Isaiah Jones. Lays it off edge of the box and down goes Gilbert. It's not given, but Hoppy with an opportunity, whose shot is saved by Rui Silva. And looks to have... it's not. He's missed it, Hoppy, instead. Yeah, he's put it wide, but... Well, I thought the referee was going to blow for a foul on Alex Gilbert there.
Gilbert goes down. It's a late challenge, and he toe pokes it, but it goes to Hoppy, and I think he lets play go. He's one-on-one with the keeper, but he's actually stretching, and he actually gets a toe to it, but the direction for the ball just takes it past the far post. He's pretty much central as well there.
So BBC Radio T Sport, Alex Hall coming up at 4 o'clock, so stick around with us after this has finished here in Borough's latest pre-season friendly. Sammy Dieng coming out just to sweep up at the back, which he does so well, doesn't he? Sammy Dieng just mops it up at the back if there's ever any pressure or concern. Who stood out for you this afternoon, Neil? I mean, obviously we've been waxing lyrical about Hayden Hackney, but anybody else?
He has Hackney. Barlaser first half was really good, but Hayden just... When you're playing a side that they're a good side. You know, it's shown its second half, and you look at the players. I don't know half of them, but I'll go to Jose Perez, who is Newcastle, Leicester, and
Wang Cruz in that second half did well, didn't he?
I said before, you're looking at Pellegrini, and you're looking at an intelligent footballer that has got a bit of pace about him, that can see a pass. That's the Spanish league for you. You know, it really is. Looking after that ball, and for me, I've got to say, I mean, I'm excited about seeing him develop. He had a good season last season. He had a little spell where I said before, Rob, he just went off the mark a little bit, but he's still a young lad. He's still learning his game. But I tell you what, he's going to get better. Oh, he's nicked the ball off him.
Silvera's nicked it, and it's an opportunity inside the box. He's been brushed off the ball, but the referee wags his finger and says, no, thank you. Borough
he gets it right.
Tries to win it back with Jones. Dale Fry just picks up possession out to Rav Vandenberg. Is there a late equaliser here for Borough? And their pre-season record in the UK reads lost 1, drawn 1, won 1. And at the minute it would be a defeat, and that is the final whistle at Chesterfield. Real Betis 1, Middlesbrough 0. An entertaining first half, that's for sure, with Morgan Rogers going closest for Borough, only to be denied by Claudio Bravo, and then Borough trying to play out from the back and almost playing themselves into danger with an opportunity that Real Betis really should have put away, but they didn't. An injury to Tommy Smith, which we will find out more in the fullness of time when we speak to Michael Carrick after we finish here this afternoon. But the opening goal, and the only goal of the afternoon, scored by the former Newcastle and Leicester player Iosi Perez, who received it from wide on the right hand side, a low ball into the box by Martin Montoya, and Perez hit it first time, curling away from Seny Dieng, who was sprawling down to his right hand side to try and get something on it, but it beat Dieng, all ends up, and that is the goal that makes the difference in this latest pre-season friendly. Next up for Borough, it is a trip to Bradford City, but a step up in opposition and a real test this afternoon, and Borough, despite the result, dealt with it well.
Nah, I thought it was a good game. I thought it was a good test for us. I thought first half, I couldn't fault the boys. I thought first half they were absolutely superb, created lots of chances first half. Unfortunately, you don't stick them away, and then you don't stick things away, you get punished, don't you? So, and they did second half, because they came into the game a little bit more, Betis, and the goal itself, Seny Dieng was a little bit disappointed with a defending, and we had chance to clear that ball as well a couple of times, which we didn't. So a little bit disappointed by the result, but performance-wise, yeah, I think Michael Carrick will be happy. But at the beginning of the show we were talking about the difference of players and that can create them opportunities and put them in the back of the net and that. I don't get me wrong, I think looking at that side now and the way we play, it is capable, but is it capable in a long season? Is it strong enough in a long season to get you where you want to go, which is promotion? I think we've got to add real quality. And I mentioned it before, you take away Chuba, there's 30 goals. You take away Archer, there's 11 goals.
Ryan Giles, there's
Ryan Giles, the assists. So you're looking at 3, where our goals came from last season. You're looking at 3 players that are not in your side at this moment in time. That is huge. It's huge. And then you add Ramsey, you add Archer, you know, you can go on, and I'm sick of talking about them players that were here last season, because they might not come back, they might go elsewhere, they might get game time at the clubs that they're at now. But what I'm trying to say is, can you find that type of player somewhere else? Can you bring that type of quality into the club that is going to keep you the top end of the table? But I've got to say today, 10 out of 10. For me, we played some really good football. I'm sat back and I'm looking and I'm thinking, bang, you haven't. It's not a football game where it's possession. You haven't hurt the opposition. You only haven't hurt the opposition by sticking the ball in the back of the net. But what you have done, you've created some good chances. You've got into good areas. You've caused problems. Pellegrini's on the touchline thinking, come on, we finished 6th last year in the Liga. These are in the Championship. You should be absolutely bossing this game. They weren't. We bossed the game first half. Second half, yes, they came into it a little bit more, but it wasn't all one-way traffic. It was even Stevens' second half, but unfortunately, they were the ones that created the opportunity and scored the goal. And it's pre-season. Don't get me wrong, it's pre-season. You're still getting up your fitness. You're still working on your sharpness. And I think Michael Carrick will look at this game and say, you know what? I'm pleased with that. I'm pleased with that run out. Disappointed with the result, maybes. But I think he'll understand as well, if we can just get that little bit of quality, that know-how, that specialness up top, That's the difference, isn't it?
That's where you're going to be judged ultimately, isn't it? On the goals you score.
Yeah, last season, you look at it, it wasn't about conceding goals. It was a little bit like Eddie Howe at Bournemouth. We'll score more goals than you, because that side, we were just watching a side that attacked for fun, and then people were saying we leaked too many goals. You know, although we scored loads, we leaked too many goals, and sometimes it's just the way you play. I'd rather see that football. I would. I'd love, as a fan, you want to see goals. Don't get me wrong, I like the other side of it, where you're solid and you're organised and you don't concede many. If you have the two ingredients, well, you're going to get promoted. But yeah, it's just, at this moment, the players that have come in, I'm happy with. Don't get me wrong, I'm happy with. I think they'll be, I think they'll make an impact this season, but I just feel we're lacking a little bit of specialness, a little bit of know-how. Chuba, if he comes back, if he comes into the side, I think he'll make a massive difference. But there's one or two that we just need that specialness in certain areas up top.
And speaking of up top, Morgan Rogers had an opportunity early in that first half. Do you think could he have done better there? Do you think he'll be thinking, maybe on another day I should have zigged when I should have zagged?
He's more of a, as I said before, he's more of a technical player. So he's not really blessed with lightning pace, but he's leggy and he's capable. But yeah, he hits it with his left foot and the keeper pulls off a good save. I maybe saw. He's a yard in front of the defender, so take it across the defender and hit it with your right foot, your favoured foot. But he did at York City. I think he slowed down a little bit and the tackle came in. But you're playing these games for a reason. You're learning all the time. You're trying to get your sharpness. You're trying to get your fitness. He hasn't had much game time. He played at Blackpool, I think, last season. I heard a quote that said, "What a side you lot are. I'd love to play in your side." And you can see he's a good player. He's a different player to Archer. Really good, sees a one touch here and there, but Archer scored goals. I mean, back end of the season, Archer fell off a little bit, especially the game against Coventry. Never really got into the game, and the last few games, slightly disappointed. That's why I thought, me personally, I don't think Archer's top quality Premier League. I think he'll be a squad player in that league, but you need real top quality. Look at the top teams, man. They're blessed with it all, and I just think, for me, Archer will be plying his trade top end of the Championship or bottom end of the Premier League, and that's my opinion. Hopefully, he'll kick on and prove wrong, but I think him coming back here would be a great choice. I'd take him all day long. I'd take the rest of the boys all day long, or plays in a similar ability, because that's what I think. That's all we're lacking a little bit. The squad itself, for me, is okay. It's shaping okay. We just need a little bit more.
And Riley McGree once more. We're quickly running out of time, but we again saw how important he's going to be. Hayden Hackney, yes. Dan Barlaser, yes, of course. But just touching on Riley McGree, because at times he ran that areas of that midfield in that first half.
He's just a good player. He's a good player. He causes lots of problems for opposition. I'd like to see him get on the score sheet a lot more, which he did last season. He chipped in, but I think he can chip in a little bit more. But he does create problems, and while he does create problems, hopefully them opportunities will appear. Hopefully them opportunities will come.
Okay, that's just about it from us this afternoon on BBC Radio T Sport. Alex Hall is next after Middlesbrough end in defeat against Real Betis.
To follow the borough.
BBC Radio T's Sports.
Now Cruz once more. Back to Montoya. Looks to try and deliver into the box and does, and curls one home. It's Ayoze Perez who puts the Spanish side into the lead. It was Cruz and Montoya who combined on the far side into the box in a first shot that beats Dieng away to his right hand side. 63 minutes on the clock. Real Betis 1, Middlesbrough 0.
BBC Radio T Sports.